separating because they have economically they are strong. They have the land is good and fertile, so they will be independent also for really food and everything.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they count very much on their strength. What they don't see is that it goes historically against our country, our principle, our brothers and sisters all over the country,
Yeah.
and the process of unification of Italy, which was done war after war and to the expenses of many lives, just to unite this country that was defined one unique by the language, by the faith, and by the how to say political borders. So now it looks like to me to fragment Italy, we will go back at least over 150 years.
Yeah. So what would you like to see happen with that? Just nothing for them to not break, or?
I would like them not to break, but maybe from the Italy has a central government which is very centralized.
Yeah.
Maybe just to give a little more authority to the regions and have maybe a federal government like maybe it's Germany or like the United States. As they are all countries, but their regions or states have definitely some independence in some decisions that can make people happier.
Yeah.
So.
According to many travel websites, among the top attractions for tourists to visit in Italy include the Colosseum, ancient Pompeii, the Trevi Fountain, and the Spanish Steps. So would you change or add anything to this list?
This list? Oh, there are many things I would change. Obviously, we're talking about Rome. I'm surprised that there is Pompeii next to it, but obviously with the Colosseum, the only, let's say, one full city in which you can walk through and is of Roman times is Pompeii, which is a treasure. But actually, where do we put, I don't know, Florence, Siena, Venice, Milan itself, and some also, I'm not just talking about cultural beauties and artistic traditions that many foreigners come and see in Italy, but there are natural beauties that are unique and impressive, and I would add to it. Or even just a tour of Sicily, this island brings so much back with history, culture, and the natural beauties. It's, the volcanoes, the Etna, Stromboli, and the Auli Islands, the coast of Amalfi, Capri, just to name a few.
Yeah.
Or le Cinque Terre and Portofino in Liguria.
Have you visited all those places?
Yes, I did.
Do you think it's more common for tourists or people like natives to visit there? Or do you think that like if you live there, you're just kind of used to it, so you don't go to places like that?
I can say here maybe, at this point we talk about our two cultures are really different, because for a person here living maybe in Kansas City and have to see Washington DC, they have to plan a flight, and book hotels or so. But if someone from Venice wants to see le Cinque Terre, it is maybe a 5 hours ride by car. And so you can really do it and maybe even have a tour. And from there, Pisa is maybe half an hour, and Firenze and Pisa are 20 minutes apart. Siena is another hour. So if you take a week vacation, you can view so many different things. And basically just there are tours done, by families. There are long weekends. You don't need to take, a long break from work. You just need a long weekend, and you can see different treasures. So I can say I touched all the Italian regions except with Sardinia, but it will be one, I hope, my next one. But I've seen all of them, and not just seeing in a way passed by.
Yeah.
We never travel flying. We just take a car or a train. Train is very popular.
Yeah.
And it's very simple and easy to travel in weekends. It's not expensive. And so for this reason, I think most Italians traveled and have seen a lot of our own country because of the country being small, the connection easy, and the opportunities of a long weekend becomes easy then. Tourists, when they come, I find that in 1 week they put all the big cities inside, which I think becomes really a marathon and very difficult to handle because I think maybe Rome would deserve a full week by itself, just to see it properly. But I understand exactly if you take a flight to Europe and want to condense in 10 days or 2 weeks a big tour, you don't want just to stay in one place.
So do you have a favorite place? Or one that means more to you?
A favorite place, the Amalfi Coast. I would go there without the suitcase. I would just enter a flight and go. It's a spectacular place where there is the history of the Sea Republic Amalfi, and the beauty of small sea village, Positano, Ravello, and even the area more toward the Napoli, Sorrento, and then you have Capri and Colano. So you have a concentrated area full of history, of natural beauties, of tradition, which is really unique. So I recommend anyone to go there.
Okay. So is there an Italian landmark or historic building that you think is most important to Italy's culture or history?
Well, just to name one would be unfair to others, but at least when Italy was a whole country, or even before that, our origin and tradition. So I think probably it's true that the Colosseum has this power to be the monument, not just of the Romans, the people living in Rome, but of all us Italians, because the origin of our country and history is down there, with Rome.
Yeah.
And then if we move to more recent buildings, I could mention, Piazza San Marco in Venice and the Basilica of San Marco, but I don't think that all Italians would identify with that. Or the Duomo in Milan, but also there, that is really particular of Milan. So I think something that is, all Italians would say, yes, this is us, this would be the Colosseum.
Okay. What advice would you give to someone that was visiting Italy for the first time?
Be adventurous. So if you go, for example, if students go and have a particular goal to see maybe either Venice for its art or Florence or Rome, just move out of the path of tourists and try to see what actually Italians see. Try new things, try food, see and notice what the young people of your age do there. So not only to retain the monuments and the exterior part of the country, but also trying to live the life of Italians for the time you have the chance to be there.
Okay. So is there anything else that you'd like to add that we haven't talked about?
Well, I can say there are many things. I like for sure to talk about the positive things of my country. There are also some negative things. So when students are there, I also warn them to be very careful, because it's true, Italians are very inclusive, talkative, warm, but we have unfortunately to say a big stigma in Europe to be a country where there are many thieves, and where you have to watch out, So, and this I think is not just Italians, I think is all the big cities. So if you are in Rome or Milan, it's not different than being, I don't know, in some areas of New York City, Chicago, San Francisco. So I just think it's always good to, when you travel, to be a group of people instead of individual. Yes.
Do you think they pick on tourists, or do you think thieves just
more because it's exactly, maybe tourists may not be aware exactly that people may try to sell you something that is completely fake and that is instead a Roman coin, and they give you the big deal of the century and it is not. So for this reason, it's always good to be a few people, and to turn down some offers, play safe, but use the train as transportation if you can. Public transportation works wonderful. You do not need to have cars. They're generally
Yeah.
expensive, and gas is very expensive. For the rest, just explore, enjoy. Maybe if you plan to travel, prepare yourself, do a little history search or search of the area and see, decide then what are your priorities and what you want to see.
Very cool. So thank you very much.
You're welcome.